Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I want to talk about, as a father, how to teach your son to be a man, even when they're little. And now, I'm not claiming that I know all this stuff. Okay, what I am claiming is they need to learn how to be a man. And the way to start, a young boy starts being a man by watching his father. And because I've been thinking about this, and now I say I was young. I was running around. I was a young boy in the 50s. And I didn't realize how much of an impact my father made on me. We didn't really get along. We didn't really talk that much. And I've seen it on my son. It was the same thing. My son, we didn't talk very much. I dumped a lot on my wife on raising my son. I had a son and a daughter. And so I expected her to do more. And the reason was I didn't have a mother. So I know I lost my mother when I was like 4 years old. And so there's a lot of things that affect us when we were young. And as you know, I talk about we all have crosses to bear. When I say that, I'm meaning I don't give a shit about your problems. Yes, you may not have had a good childhood, but I don't give a damn. You're an adult. Now you make these decisions, you better yourself. You try to do something. That's why I come up with this. We all have crosses to bear. I've got no different. I've got crosses to bear also. We can't use those for excuses. We have to learn from them. This is why I'm talking about being the father. How you act. I remember when I was really small, my father would drink. He was drinking whiskey. And now I don't know if he stopped because he realized he was a father now or what, but like I say, he stopped. And so like I say, I watched him, and one of the things that I've watched, and I say this was way back, I thought I couldn't wait. And I realized my father was old. When I was born, he was 40-some years old when I was born. So I thought, well, man, I can't wait till I get old, because he could do things I couldn't do. And like I say, we've owned restaurants, stuff like that. And like I say, he would make comments to the waitresses, teasing them, saying stuff like that. I already said it on another video, but I'll say it again. I had a friend that was telling me she worked with a bunch of men, and there was this one old guy, old enough to be her father, and he says, you want to fool around? And she said, nah, I don't want to fool around. She knew he was just teasing. And then he says, well, would you stand still and let me fool around? And this is the kind of stuff, I don't remember my dad saying that. I thought that was really cute. And but you can't say something like that nowadays. And I'm not saying it's right. What's going on is really bad. This feminism stuff is really bad. But anyway, it is important as a father that you act a certain way, because your children are going to watch this. Not only your son will watch this and say, oh man, I can't wait to be like my father. And not only that, but your daughter will be watching you also, and she's thinking this is what a man is supposed to be like. So that's why being a father is very, very important. For me, like I say, I was owned businesses, so and you have to. What do? You put your business ahead of your family ahead of your business. It's easy to say one thing. It's easy to say, well, you need to put your family ahead of everything. That's an easy statement. But the reality is, when you want the best for your family, it's a little bit different than that. And and then at the same time, like I say, I really didn't spend all, because my son and I didn't have a communications. There was nothing for me to stay home. When I stayed home, all I did was remodel the house. That's the time when people would see me. When the family would see me staying home, I was remodeling the house somewhere or another, learning my carpentry stuff, and maintaining the house, cutting grass, stuff like that. And but what it is, as a father, it's very important that you act proper. And now, that's the key word, act. Because I guarantee you are a shitty father. I guarantee it. So at least what you can do is act like you are a good father, a good husband. You need to act that way. And I've learned by acting, I can act a certain way, and I act like that long enough, eventually I become that way. I say I've owned businesses. That didn't mean that I was a good business owner. I made a lot of mistakes, but I had to learn to act like a good, successful business owner. And then after a while, you keep acting that way, and then you learn this by watching other men, other businessmen, and stuff like that. It'd be the same thing in your life. If you like I say, not just what I hate. One of the things I hate about men is, well, I put my 40 hours in, and so now I'm just going to watch TV and drink and smoke and do nothing with your life. You know what I mean? You really need to realize that you are being watched, and that is what your kids are going to be learning. Now, it's and I say, as a young man, you look at your mother, and that tells you how you're going to, what kind of woman you're going to be. That's what I'm saying. That was one of the big disadvantages I had. I didn't have a mother. And then eventually I got a stepmother, and she was from China, and she wasn't a good example. And so that's what I realized, what I don't want. So it goes both ways. If you're a shitty father, then your son could say, hey, this is exactly, I don't want to be like my father. But it's a whole lot better when they want to be like the father. So you need to take the role, like go to work. I can't believe how many men don't go to work. And then you say, well, I can't find a job. Okay, that's why I own businesses. I couldn't find a job either. Remember, I'm dyslexia. So I can't really read too well. I don't follow instruction too good. You can probably tell by my videos. I'm a free thinker. I'm really stubborn. It's hard for me to work for others. That's why I own my own businesses. Even though some of the businesses were pretty dorky, simple business, and not all of them made me money. But like I say, my children can see I worked. I did something with my life. And so these are things you need to think on when you have that family. And I want to talk about being a woman too. So I'm gonna have to make a video talking about the woman thing. But I say, I know things have changed now, but like I say, there's some things that don't change, and that is your children are watching you. It's an important thing on how you handle yourself. And another thing, once you have a family, you get married, you have a family, get married, that's one of those other tricky things that, you don't want to get, a lot of them are living together now, that's not a good example either. And you wonder why the men and the women are so screwed up, they don't have the stability in their lives. So, but I say, so it's important that you, and then, just now, I don't know about nowadays, but in the old days, a lot of people stayed married just for the sake of the children, and because they realized how important their roles were. Nowadays, it's kind of questionable if they really understand their role, but as a man, as a father, you have a very important role that you need to do. And whether you know it or not, your actions will be reflected on your children. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com. Now I'm going to tell you a woman how to be a woman.